Greetings, I am Samyo Hangma Rai, and today we're going to study the chapter titled Discovering Migration, What Birds Reveal of grade 10. So let's begin the class now.
Discovering migration, what birds reveal. A snow-covered forest in winter can be a quiet place. In spring, however, the same spot is filled with the chirps, chatter, and calls of birds. Where do they go during the winter? In the past, people used to think that during the winter, birds slept in holes that they dug in the ground. Others thought they hid in the mud on the bottoms of ponds, alive but waiting for spring. Others claimed that familiar summer birds transformed into other types of birds in the winter. The truth is, in some ways, more incredible. What birds do during this time is migrate. They fly over land and oceans without a road map or compass to destinations that are sometimes thousands of miles away. Like marathon runners, birds pace themselves so they do not run out of energy before they can land. They are always adjusting speed, height, and flight path to account for changing winds, their own weight, and storms. In the spring, they retrace their paths back to their summer homes. Each fall, about 5 billion birds migrate south for the winter from North America. Nearly all 500 of the 650 species of North American birds migrate. Yet, this is just one small part of the picture. More than half of all the bird species in the world, approximately 5,000 species, migrate, and each species is on a different journey. Other animal species also migrate, including insects, amphibians, reptiles, fish, and mammals. Migration is happening all the time. Herds of wild beasts arrive every January at green pastures in the southern Serengeti of Africa. Swarms of free-tailed bats arrive each March to caves in Texas. Northern fur seals gather on Alaskan islands each June. In September, Chinook salmon swim up rivers in Washington state. If you are in the right place at the right time, you can witness these amazing journeys. Yet, no matter where you live, you can still see some birds migrating. In fact, much of what we know about migration comes from studying birds. Not all birds travel from north to south. Some travel east to west. White-winged scotters are driving ducks. They can stay underwater for up to a minute to grab shellfish from the ocean floor. In the summer, they live near ponds and lakes in Alaska and western Canada. In the fall, they fly to milder conditions on the Pacific and Atlantic coasts where there is less snow. Other migrants do not travel very far for a big difference in climate. Instead of going north or south, they travel up and down. Mountain birds such as brindled titmice and mountain chickadees migrate about 1,000 feet to lower elevations. They move from high-altitude evergreen forests to wooded valleys and streams. Even within bird species, some birds may migrate while others do not. This is called partial migration. Robins are a sign of arrival of spring in northern states because they migrate south during the cold winter months. But some robins live year-round in the south. Some bird species migrate in one non-stop trip. Others stop along the way. Sea terns cannot rest for long on the water during their flights over oceans because they become waterlogged. For most birds, though, non-stop travel is unusual. It is much more common for birds to stop along the way to rest and refuel. Even a small cluster of bushes with berries can provide crucial energy for birds on the move. Birds may stay at stopover points for a few days or a few weeks, depending on how much energy they need. They might also wait for better weather or wind conditions for the next leg of their journey. Some layover sites attract huge crowds of migratory birds. A 75-mile stretch of the Platte River in Nebraska is a gathering spot for up to 9 million birds each spring. They stop to feed in the fertile wetlands along the river. Almost all of the world's sandhill cranes, numbering about 500,000, spend about 6 weeks on the Platte River. Mostly they eat corn, which quickly adds fat and gets them ready for the rest of their migration. Once the cranes have fed and rested, they continue their northward migration to Canada, Alaska, and Siberia. Some birds take long perilous journeys to reach their destinations. Many duck species and waterfowls travel from Siberia to Nepal to avoid cold. The migrating birds may travel during the day, at night, or both. Ducks, geese, and swans travel during the day and at night. Some birds that travel during the day can feed while flying. Swallows and swifts, for example, feed on flying insects while they travel. In contrast, most songbirds feed and rest during the day and travel at night. It is thought that cooler and less windy conditions at night make for better flying. Hidden in the night sky, the birds are almost invisible except for all the chattering. Only when songbirds pass in front of the moon they are visible. In fact, moon watching is a way of counting how many migrants travel at night. During migration season, a moon watcher may see as many as 200 birds an hour. Adapted from Animal Behavior by Gretel H. Kuhler and Sheila K. Kuhler. Discovering migration, what birds reveal. This chapter talks about how birds migrate to avoid cold, and migration is not only done from north to south, however, it is also done from east to west and vice versa. Overall, in a year, 5,000 bird species migrate, and all of them migrate to different destinations. Not only birds, but animals and insects also migrate. However, spotting a bird's migration is comparatively easier. But not all birds migrate, and that's why it is called as partial migration. The birds do rest between their travel, and the rest time varies. If they need a short time, they rest for a short time, or if they need longer period of time to rest, to eat up food, to get enough energy, then they take longer time. Sometimes it can even take them weeks to rest up and get fulfilled. But not only that, weather conditions also determine whether the birds fly fast or take longer time. Birds can migrate at both day, night, or at both day and night time together. There are some birds who feed while they're flying, while others they have to come over to a rest stop, hunt, eat, recharge, and then fly. So a few examples of birds that travel both at day and night are ducks and geese, and a songbird is one of those birds that travel at night. Moon watching is an action to see how many birds migrate, and during the moon is up, we can see the songbirds migrate. During migration season, a moon watcher can see as many as 200 birds migrating in about an homework. Why is the migration of birds amazing? List out the animals, insects, and birds that migrate. How was your class today? If you have any suggestions or feedback, please feel free to write to us at learning@dearwalk.edu.np. Hope to see you in another class with another lesson. Thank you.